What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of The Real Housewives of Dubai, Season 1, Episode 8. So let's get into Sarah and Caroline Brooks. They're still going at it about whatever Sarah had said about Caroline's parenting style. We're still at Stanberry's engagement party, so we're still there. We're still hashing it out. Now, the only thing that I want to say about this is that Sarah was wrong for saying anything about how Caroline parents her child. You just don't do that. The way we parent our children is something that's extremely private. It's extremely personal. So to talk about how someone parents their child when it's not like an extremely abusive type of situation, you just don't have no business doing that. Sarah was completely out of line for doing that. But at the same time, Caroline Brooks, if Sarah was completely wrong about what she said about how you parent your son, then why are you so affected by it? Why are you so hurt by it? She's arguing with Sarah. She's going around telling the other women what Sarah said. It's almost like, Sarah really hit a nerve. Like maybe when Sarah said the things that she said, it was like she was holding up a mirror and Caroline Brooks was seeing herself in that way, that maybe there was some validity to what Sarah said, because I don't understand why she's so affected by it. If you know who you are as a mother and you feel like you're doing the best that you can and nobody really understands, what you've been through for, to have this child, what you went through, whatever you went through, then whatever Sarah says should not matter. It absolutely shouldn't matter. But for you to argue and to be this upset about it, and for you to go to all the other women in the friend group and tell them about it, it just shows that you were really affected by it. And the only reason why you would be affected is if there was some type of truth into what she said. Otherwise, you should have just left it alone. Now, what I don't understand is, why does Brooks have to prove herself to everybody in this group? Like, do they not know what kind of a parent she is? If they don't see anything wrong with how she parents her child, then shouldn't they speak up for that and say, hey, but we've seen you with your son and there's nothing wrong with how you parent your child? Like, have they not spent time with her and her son together? Or did these people just meet for the filming of the show and didn't even know each other beforehand? Like, I don't understand, because they act like they're really close friends. So I'm sure that they've seen how she parents her child. They've been in and out of each other's homes. They've been at events together. They've seen how the others, how they all parent their children. So why hasn't someone stood up and said, you know what, I've spent time with Caroline Brooks and her son, and she doesn't do those things, and she's not that way. Another thing that I was sort of confused about was that Caroline Brooks said that Sarah was pointing out how militant she was with her child. And Caroline Brooks talks about how her mother was that way and she sees nothing wrong with that, and that's how she's going to parent her son. I don't think that Sarah's main point was how militant she was with her son. I think Sarah's main point was that she needed to be more hands-on with her son. Instead of delegating certain things to her servant or her maid or the nanny or whoever she was, that she needs to be the one that's doing the things for her child, that's cutting up the meat for him, that's tucking him into bed. But Sarah also had no right to say that, because it seems like this is the first time that she ever saw Caroline Brooks and her son interact. So if Sarah has not been around enough to make a sound judgment on what's going on in Caroline's house, then Sarah had no business commenting on anything, because number one, this was like a special event. Caroline is hosting a dinner party for her friends. So yeah, she can't just leave her friends and go tuck her son into bed, especially if there's someone else there who could do that for her. That doesn't mean that she never tucks him in. That doesn't mean that, the servants are doing it all the time. Sarah doesn't know that. So Caroline was probably just trying to be a gracious host by telling the maid to put the boy in bed because she's having a dinner party and she's hosting her friends. Sarah doesn't know if this goes on every night or not. So Sarah was really out of line for doing that. Now, on the other hand, from what I have seen on the show, I have seen Caroline, interact with her son, play with her son. But then again, I feel like, maybe there's some things that she can kind of sort of improve on. And the fact that she's got no pictures of her child in the living room, all the pictures in her living room are of herself. Like, if you walked into that home, you would not even know that a child lived there, because there's no pictures of him. Like, he doesn't even exist. Like, there's no pictures of her son in her living room. So they're both kind of sort of right. They're both kind of sort of wrong. I think Sarah is more wrong though because of the fact that you just don't talk about how someone parents their child. If you don't see someone being abusive towards their child or doing something that's like, criminal against their child, you have no business to say, oh, you need to be more hands on, or you need to be less militant, or whatever the situation is. You just have no right to do that. So moving on from that. Now, Caroline Stanberry, her wedding. Well, what can I say? Her wedding was nice. It was cute or whatever. I wasn't overwhelmed by anything. Nothing absolutely wowed me. Oh, I did like Sergio's tuxedo. I'm not normally a fan of the white tux, but I like a white tux if it is all white. So he had on everything white, the bow tie, the vest, the shirt, the jacket, the pants, everything was white. The cummerbund, everything was white. And I really did appreciate that. I just don't like it when you have a white jacket and black pants because it looks like a waiter. But his ensemble was absolutely, I loved it. White, like that creamy white. I absolutely love Sergio's tuxedo. On the other hand, Caroline's wedding gown, I wasn't too impressed. I don't know what Caroline is trying to do. I didn't really care for her engagement party dress either. I don't want to make it seem like if you're a certain age, you have to dress a certain way. You can wear whatever you want at whatever age. I just don't think that for Caroline to wear the short dresses, for some reason, I don't think it really fits her because she kind of carries herself like she's like, very reserved. She's very like, I don't know, just stiff, reserved, guarded. So for her to wear like the short party dresses, it just really doesn't fit her personality because she's not that loose and outgoing and fun and energetic. So I see that on a woman of any age who's just more fun and more, social and just someone who has a lot of energy, a lot of pep in them. That's who I see wearing the short party dresses or the short wedding gowns. Caroline doesn't come across to me like that. So her wedding gown, it had like a cover and a cover to it, which was like it had, I don't even know what material it was, like a whole bunch of holes in it. I don't know if it was lace or what you call that type of design or material. And then underneath, it's like she had another dress or something underneath that was form fitting and it was short. So once again, she wants to show us her legs. I wish she would have worn a more traditional wedding gown, a wedding gown that did show off her shape and that was just longer and more suitable for her personality. These, like I said, these outfits that she chooses, they don't really fit her personality. So I really don't understand what's going on there. But the wedding itself, it was nice. It was cute. After that, they had the reception. Everybody gave a speech. It was really nice. Sergio was very emotional. It was a cute little wedding. Now, the people that did not attend the wedding was Lisa, Caroline Brooks, and of course, Iman had a previous engagement. Iman had a fashion show that she had to be a part of. She was walking the runway, and Lisa, she ditched the wedding to go to the fashion show. That is somewhat understandable to me because Lisa and Caroline Stanberry are not the best of friends. I thought that Caroline Brooks and Stanberry were a little bit more friendly. So for her to avoid going to the wedding because she wanted to avoid Sarah, I thought that just showed how bad of a friend she was to Caroline, because I really thought that Caroline and Stanberry were friends, because Caroline saw nothing wrong with Stanberry not inviting Chanel to her yacht party, whatever party that was. She saw nothing wrong with that. And I didn't think that Brooks was even that close with Lisa and Chanel, but she ditched the wedding to go to the fashion show. The fashion show was nice. I thought it was gorgeous. Chanel shut it down. She did really well. Her son was even in the fashion show. He even rocked the runway and he looked absolutely great. So that was a really great event. Now we are at Caroline's post-wedding brunch. Now this was a hoot because the things that were said at this brunch was hilarious. So they're at the brunch. Lisa and Ayan have attended the brunch, and A lot of Caroline's American friends were there as well. Lisa and Chanel were like, they didn't think too much of Caroline's American friends. Lisa even said that her friends were, they couldn't make it in Dubai because they were just too basic for Dubai. I thought that was really funny. So then the conversation goes towards IVF and having children and pregnancies and so on and so forth. Now, Caroline and Sergio, they do want to have children together, and they're going to have to take the route of IVF. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if it's just because of her age or what. Like, why wouldn't she think that she could get pregnant naturally? But anyway, they talk about that, and the conversation goes to how Caroline in the past, her pregnancies have been very high risk. So she's had preeclampsia, she's had a lot of issues with her pregnancies. Now, her friends are very concerned about her health, and they're wondering whether or not it's a good idea for her to even have any more children, and if so, for her to carry her own kids. Now, someone suggested surrogacy, and Lisa explained to the brunch party that in Dubai, surrogacy is against the law because you cannot give birth if you are not married, even though the child that you're giving birth to is not even your own biological child. But I guess, in Dubai, surrogacy is against the law, so they can't choose that as an option. So the only thing that they can do is either to go completely somewhere else, or for Caroline just to carry her own children, which is going to be a risk for her. Now, this is where I thought it got crazy. When Sergio said, well, if it is going to become a health risk for her to carry the child, then we'll just take the child out of her halfway through and put it in somebody else. Now, how can someone be that ignorant? How can someone be that dumb to think that? Like, who thinks that way? Like, Sergio, honey, we didn't want to believe that you were just a pretty face or that you were just Caroline's boy toy, but now it seems like you are. And I can't believe that Caroline, I don't know if she felt embarrassed when Sergio said that or what, but I would have been like, oh my God, is it your nap time, Sergio? I think it's your nap time. And would have encouraged him to leave the table before he said anything else asinine. That was absolutely crazy for me that he even said that. Moving on from there. Oh, and by the way, Lisa, in her confessional, she says that Caroline and Sergio do not need to be having any more children because of the fact that they don't even spend enough time with the kids that they do have. Moving on from there, Caroline Brooks. Caroline is home with her mom. Her mom has come to visit, and she's going through pictures. I guess she's planning on putting some pictures of her son up in the living room. So she's going through boxes of photos of her son when he was a baby, so on and so forth. Her son's a very cute baby. I don't know why she wouldn't have pictures of him all over the place. If that was my little boy, I would have pictures of him everywhere. So she tells her mom about Sarah. She brings up Sarah again and the things that Sarah had said. And of course, her mom is going to agree that, Caroline is not a bad parent. Now, her mom did say that maybe you should apologize to Sarah because the way that you talked to her at the engagement party, you were drunk and you were shouting at her. Maybe that you had gone a little bit too far and you do need to apologize to Sarah for that. And I think that, I think that Caroline Brooks did agree that she probably should tell her that she was sorry. Now, like I said, once again, if you're not what Sarah said that you were, why are you making it such a big deal? Just let it go. You're not that kind of parent. You're a wonderful mom. You went through hell and high water to provide for your son, to get custody of your son. If there's nothing else going on behind the scenes, girl, don't worry about what Sarah said. Sarah was only there for a couple of hours. She only saw a little snippet of your life. She had no right to say what she did. You've already addressed it ad nauseum. Can we please let it go? Yeah, let's just let it go. It's not that big of a deal. That is my review of The Real Housewives of Dubai. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, please subscribe. And I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.